Namaste. So there is a sweet little poem of Aurobindo, rather a clever little poem, because its name is Epigram. Epigrams are a very clever and witty way of communicating something, bit with amusement. You will see it in Bhartari's Niti Shatakam. Clever way of saying something. He says, there are animals who don't have horns and don't have tails and claws. Now, and walk on 2 feet. He makes it very obvious. So it's a clever way of saying that who are these animals? So here it's an epigram. Of course, Aurobindo is far too gentlemanly to ever, even in epigram he maintains that dignity. Something very beautiful about Aurobindo. Among the many aspects, one of them is his dignity. Never stoops down. Look at all his writings written against the British. They are openly against the British. Not one single lower note. Try finding it. Even when he makes fun of them, there is even in that sarcasm and satire something coming right from there, not at that level. Something very amazing, at least, when I read. One of them is where he speaks about the British system of justice. And he says what he basically says in without, but in a very his own Finnish way. But he says, British are not so interested in justice. They are interested in showing that justice is done. So they will have, and that's the system we follow, no? So hundreds of witnesses. At the end, it's not that you are doing justice, but you have given an impression that you have done everything to render justice. And if you read that, that's why many people didn't understand whether this goes into sedition or it doesn't go into sedition, because of his way of writing. Even the fiery speeches don't carry a low note. It's something. I don't know of a second person who has ever emulated it, at least from what I have read. Epigram. Read Ilion. He describes the scene, everything. It's about a battle. But again, you will see that no lower note. Even when he describes the most romantic kind of love, there is in it beauty and courage and valor and, strength and leap like a lion, but still it maintains a height. So, epigram. If thou wouldst traverse time with vagrant feet, traverse time, that's worth traversing. That means if you want to do time travel in different simple words, time travel has two connotations. One is the physical time travel. You go backward and you go forward. This is human mind has caught this imagination for the last 100 years. Time travel, is it possible or not? But it comes from a possibility that human beings can actually go backward in time and forward in terms of consciousness and know the events. Very often mother would describe it didn't happen like this. And you can go into the future. So the real time travel is ability to go into the past and the future. So he's saying, if thou wouldst traverse time with vagrant feet, nor make the poles thy limit, fill not then. What are the poles? The north and the south pole? Earth. You want to travel in time? You want to know only what happened on earth? Yes, but you can know what happened from the beginning of creation. The mother speaks of that I was the origin. That's how she knew the original story, not by reading a book. She says, I experienced it when at the origin she is there, then she plunges as love. So he says, don't make the poles your limit. He says, don't make the poles your limit. That means only what happened on earth, earthly history. So if you want to do time travel and space travel, but time travel into past and the future, and space travel beyond earth into all the different space-time domains, then fill not then thy wallet with the fancy's cloying seed. Fill not thy wallet with the fancies cloying sweet, which is no stay to heaven aspiring men. So if you really want to go into all the dimensions of space and time, basically enlarge your consciousness and make it as vast as creation itself, then if you are only busy filling your wallet with fancy's cloying sweet, then it won't help you much. Why? Because we have a limited amount of time and limited amount of energy, limited amount of consciousness. Whatever we focus on, that tends to increase. So if you are busy filling your wallet, be busy filling your wallet. See this recently, that very interesting paradox. So this man, what is Bezos? What is his name? The businessman. So this man wanted to have a space travel as a tourist, space tourism, for 11 minutes, I think, for which he gave a fortune. He has earned billions and billions of dollars, and edging out somebody else who also, wanted. So he wanted to be the first one. Now, this is one kind of approach to life. You go into space, you come back, you are dependent on again that machinery, money, and everything. Okay, you had a momentary aha experience. But that's the utmost that this can take you. This is actually a peak limit. Imagine spending all your life, time, energy, so that I can spend 11 minutes in space. All right, it's not that it's a small achievement. But a much greater achievement is when you explore the inner spaces. Then you go really beyond not just this material space, but beyond this material space. Not just this time, last 100, 200 years, and project yourself 20, 30 years, but far back and far ahead. That's what yogis do. Aurobindo, he had this triple time vision, which he often documents in records of yoga as T3, where he sees the past, the present, and the future together. So what should we do? You are saying don't be busy filling your wallet, but there is a clause, if you don't want to do it, okay. So what should we do? So he says, but follow wisdom, since alone the wise can walk through fire with unblinking eyes. You have to walk through the wall of fire. The fire that has built this world, all the system of worlds. Fire is that original energy. So you have to go through it. And when you go through it, then you develop that inner capacity after purifying of all the dross. Fire is at once the purifying energy. Fire is at once that takes you forward. Fire is the fire of aspiration. Fire is ultimately that divine energy in us. So when we are ready to walk through the fire, and to walk through the fire, then we have to follow the path of wisdom and not the path of what is known as worldly wisdom. So he says very beautifully in the hour of God, nor let worldly prudence whisper too closely into thy ears, for it is the hour of the unexpected. Last two lines, they're very powerful. But follow wisdom, since alone the wise can walk through fire with unblinking eyes. They know that the body may perish, but the soul is immortal. They know that the fire is purifying me. They're not afraid of this purification process. They know that this fire can never destroy what is true and beautiful and pure. It uplifts everything toward the highest heights. Namaste.